Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Jeff Radigueri. I am going to take you through the BrandPRO simulation. It's a simulation provided by StratX Simulations based in Paris, France. It's a great simulation to help people learn marketing tactics, marketing strategy in a risk-free environment. You'll be taking control of a marketing department and doing a number of marketing decisions regarding products that sort of mimic what you'd be doing in an actual marketing job. So let's just get right down to it. Hopefully on your screen, you should see the home page here. We've got a number of buttons on the left: home, prepare, analyze, and decide. You can toggle back and forth to remove the labels on those. So it's just really up to you. Down below, you will see your marketing budget. So again, you are the marketing department and you're making marketing decisions. You are provided a marketing budget every period to help you support your products, and you can use that money to purchase advertising. You can use that money to modify your existing products through R&D to make them more appealing to any particular market segment. Okay, so you're given a budget each period. This period is $6 million. This here shows you how much you've committed already, and this shows you how much is left. And so you can go in and spend up or down based on that. I do know the surplus budget does not carry over to the next period, so you generally would want to spend it all. There could be situations where your product is doing so great or your company is doing so great that spending all the money may, result in diminishing returns, but it's unlikely that you get to that point. Okay. So the way the simulation works is you will actually, let's do it this way. We'll go through this. Um, so quite simply, you are trying to maximize the stock price. In this simulation, it's called Share Price Index, SPI, for your organization. And you do that through increasing what we call contribution, which is just basically um, revenues minus your marketing costs and your variable costs. Okay. You start with a stock price of 100, and your goal then is to grow that as much as you can. You certainly can lose value as well, but that's kind of the process here. So just a couple things on these screens. I'm not going to read them verbatim, but just know that within your company, you're going to be managing two brands. One is called Mojo and one is called Moon. The product category is what we call Sonites. It's a fictitious product. Think of it as some sort of handheld electronic device, okay? And you're able to manipulate things like the price, who you target with this product. You're also can manipulate the size of the screen, the processing power, the number of features available on the product, as well as how long the battery can last. Okay, so you'll want to understand your marketplace and offer products that they're wanting to purchase. Okay, three target segments: professionals, kind of high end. They want all the bells and whistles. They're willing to pay a higher price. The other end of the spectrum is savvy shoppers. These are those who are willing to give up some functionality in order to get it at a low price. And then you have what we call trendy shoppers who are somewhere in the middle. So, and again, you'll want to analyze them and see what they're interested in and decide to target some or all of them with your Mojo and your Moon. Okay. In the simulation world, you will be competing against two other teams, your team or firm M, with your products Mojo and Moon. You have a market leader called Firm T that has three products, as you see there. And then you have Firm R, which is kind of a smaller firm who has two products that you can also see there. So you'll want to keep an eye on them and what they're doing marketing wise and what their products look like, who they're targeting, those types of things. Okay. And so you'll do these things here. You'll analyze your position, you'll make some decisions, and then you will run the simulation itself. So basically, you'll put together some decisions and then you'll press a button. Actually, the button's right up here, run, and that will run the simulation forward. It'll take the data that you inputted or the decisions that you made, and kind of spit out new data, and then you will repeat the process in the next period. You'll be repeating that a grand total of 5 times. Okay. So again, you'll be deciding on targeting, who to sell the products to, product, what the product looks like, pricing, how to price the product, and then communication is how you communicate the product to your brands. All very big functions of marketing. Okay, so that's the getting started. Brand strategy concepts. Again, more stuff for you just read through. I will tell you that these positioning or perceptual maps are very important because they show you how all the brands in the market are perceived and also show you kind of what each of the target segments is looking for. So you'll want to try to match up as close as possible perceptions of your brand with those ideal values. And you can do that through the R&D and the communication that we've talked about a little bit. So definitely read through all of this, and hopefully you can get a firm grasp of what it's all about. Okay. And then decision process here, again, just summarizes what you'll be doing again. Analyze, provide some data, hit run, and again, you'll be doing it 5 times. Okay. So that's this prepare section. Then we have what we call the analyze section. This is where you will be given reports to help you make informed decisions. So the first is just what we call the company report. This just shows you some dollars and cents figures. This is how much money you made last year, and this is how much your budget is going to be for this upcoming year. Okay. Brand contribution, which is again is just revenues minus variable costs, and also minus your marketing costs as well. Okay, so you can see that your two brands, Mojo made $1.2 million last period, and Moon made $12.3 million. Some more information here. This is important when thinking about pricing and how much money you're going to make per unit. You got to keep in mind that in the simulation, you are selling your products through retailers. You are not selling directly to the consumer. So when you sell through a retailer, they take a percentage of the sales price for themselves. This is called distribution margin. And you can see here that that distribution margin is 35%. So you set the product at 340, they're going to take 119. That gives you what you make or your take, which is we call the selling price of $221. This is what it costs you to make it. This is what's left over, and this is your basically your unit margin or your unit contribution of $99 per unit. Okay, so just know when you are trying to figure out pricing and you're wading through all the different considerations, just know that if you sell it for 340, you're not going to get 340. You're not even going to get, this 221. There's a lot of things that go into this. So just keep that in mind. Okay. This table here shows you the physical characteristics of each of your brands, the number of features, battery life, display size, and processing power. And these things you can modify upwards or downwards. Generally, you will modify them based on the desires of whoever it is that you are targeting. So if you're targeting savvy shoppers and they want a battery life of, that's higher than this, and you would want to go in and modify the brand to have a larger, a higher battery life. Okay. All right. So that's company report. Then we have the market dashboard. This just gives you some overall information about the entire markets. Not really important in helping you make decisions necessarily, but the one important thing here is this share price index. It will show you what your share price is, as well as each of the other competitors' share prices period over period. So they're all at 100 at the very beginning, and then this will go up or down based on your performance. Market facts, very important here. Gives you information about, overall market shares, sales, things like that. It also shows you the brand characteristics of every brand on the market. So this is useful for benchmarking. If you are Mojo and you decided your closest competitor is Rock X and they're doing really well, you might want to alter your product to more resemble Rock X. And so this is where you would get the data to help make that decision. Also shows you the current price of every product. So maybe for competitive pricing purposes, you want to price yours higher or lower or the same as a competitor. You can use that information here to help you determine what that should look like. And then this table at the bottom here just basically shows you where companies are committing their marketing communication dollars between the three segments, the pros, the trendies, and the savvies. So you definitely want to prioritize those segments that are more likely to buy your product. Okay. And then you can minimize your focus on those that aren't necessarily going to buy your product. So you might find that Mojo is a savvy product, so you're going to spend more money in the savvy market. Moon is more of a pros product, so you're going to spend more money in the pros segment and not so much, spend less in the trendies and the savvies. Okay. So that's the market facts. Then we have market segments. This one just shows you how big the market is, basically. So this shows you the overall market size. This kind of gives you some relative numbers here. And then down here, we have some information related to purchase decisions and segment shares. And for these, on this screen, you can toggle between the three different segments, and you will see those numbers down there change to be, for each of those particular segments. Ladder of adoption here is something that's important to understand. So there's something we call the marketing funnel. You may have heard of it, but basically the idea here is that your first battle in marketing is to make people aware of your products. And then from there, you can steer them towards, some sort of desire, some intention to buy the product. And then ultimately after that comes the actual purchase. And so in the simulation, your first battle, as in the real world, is to build awareness. It's just done through more money spent on advertising, more money targeting that particular segment, whatever that segment is. And then purchase intentions has to do with the positioning and the perceptions, getting the product's perceptions to be closer or more in line with the ideal values of whoever it is that you're targeting. Okay. Here's just some information about the sales and market shares for the top 4 brands. Okay, so that is market segments. Then we have perceptual maps. We looked at these just briefly in the getting started section, but here you have some maps that show you quite simply, again, how all the brands are perceived and what the ideal values are for each of the segments. In other words, what is it that they want? And so economy and performance and convenience are tied to specific attributes. You can see that in a different table, but just know that again, you want to use targeting and R&D to try to change perceptions. So if you were Moon, you want to try to slide Moon closer to the pros' ideal values. And you would do that through modifying the convenience factors for that particular product, to kind of, tamp them down a little bit to be more in line with what they're interested in. Okay, so those are the perceptual maps. Okay, that's all the data that you will need to make your decisions. And then once you have done that, then click on decide here. And you're going to do these 5 things. First of all is targeting. We talked about this already, but just you want to allocate your marketing dollars, communication dollars, that is, to be in line with the kind of desires of each of the segments. So again, if Mojo is, more favorable in the savvy market, you will spend more money on savvy and less money in the pros and the trendies. And if Moon is more attractive to the pros, then you will spend more money on the pros and the trendy and the savvy. This is just basically, how we're going to target, how we're going to allocate our marketing communication dollars, quite simply. Product, if you've decided you need to change some of the features of your product to get it more in line with the ideal values of a particular segment, this is where you would do it. You can only modify one brand a period. So let's just do Mojo. Check this box if you want to modify it. It will bring this up. And then what happens from here is make the screen a little bit smaller here so you can see everything. So what happens here is it shows you the current, this little clock face here shows you the current attributes. You've done some research and you've decided that the number of features should be higher, the battery life should be higher, the display size should be smaller. What you can do is then drag these little sliders to where you want them. I'm going to do that in just a second, but I want you to uh, pay attention to the budget and unit cost information over here. So current unit cost is the product as it currently sits on the market, how much you pay to produce one unit, $122. When I move these sliders, this future unit cost, which is going to be the cost to produce the new version of the product, is going to change depending on if it's becoming more or less sophisticated. And then also, if you are going to modify these products, there's an R&D cost. So the R&D department has to be the one that physically does the modification, and they're going to charge you, a transfer cost to do that. So let's say number of features needs to be 15, and again, I'm just making this up. Battery life, they want it to be at 72. Hopefully you can see the numbers changing on the right. Display size, let's go down to 15. Processing power, they want the highest possible. We do that, and then you can see the numbers changed here a lot. Okay. Because we're increasing the battery life, the number of features, and the processing power, the unit cost is going to go up considerably. Okay. Display size, we went down, smaller the screen, less material, the cheaper it's going to be to make. And down here you have those perceptual maps that we talked about. So you can use this to help you for sure. Then attribute comparator, this kind of shows you the number of features for each of the three brands. Well, you can pick which three brands are compared here. Or actually, there's actually 5 brands here. So that will help you in kind of benchmarking your competitors. All right, pricing. This is where you can decide on your price. Let's say we've decided Moon, we want to go up to 600 for whatever reason. And let's decide for Mojo, we want to go down to 300. This is where we would change those numbers. And then down here, given the price changes you just made, this is the brand profitability. It's going to go up or down based on what you've done with your prices. Okay. And also that should impact your performance and convenience maps as well. If you drop the price, this economy factor is going to get smaller, or is going to go down. And then communication here, basically, we can tell the simulation that, hey, we want you to promote our brand as being, well, let's see. If we're targeting the pros, we want to promote an economy of 10. So let's just move this to 10. And we want to promote a performance of right about here, which is about a -9. So we would do that as well. Okay. So basically we're saying, hey, we want you to create advertisements that promote those levels of the feature. So think about pickup truck ads. The ads don't say, hey, here's a pickup truck. They promote ruggedness or durability or lifetime, some great warranty or the ability to get the job done, whatever it is. Okay, that's kind of the idea here is, without giving you more details, just basically, I want the ad to pitch this particular level of attribute. So that's what that's all about. And then forecasting down here below, basically, this is not really a decision to make. This is just a calculator to help you estimate demand. Okay. So basically what you would do is if your market shares, we're going to copy last year's values. And basically, if we've decided that we've made some very significant changes to Moon in targeting the pros, we can just with an educated guess, say, we think market share for Moon and the pros is going to go to 30%. Trendy for the Moon is going to go to 35%, and we're really pushing this on Savvy, so this is going to go to 15%. Okay. Once you've done that, once you've changed those numbers, then what you can do is it will show you down here what your bottom line will be if those things work out. Okay, so it is an educated guess because you don't know where the market share is going to go because it doesn't take into account what your competitors are doing to try to counteract what you're doing. So again, it's imperfect, but projections are always imperfect, but it gives you kind of a ballpark idea of what it might look like if things pan out. Okay. So once you've made all those decisions, you've changed those numbers, then you should go to review. And this just gives a summary of the decisions that you've made in this period for each of the brands. There's Mojo, and then there's Moon. Okay. After you've done that, you're ready to run. You may want to click print here to get a PDF of all the screens in the simulation. Don't have to, but you certainly can. If you're an Excel nerd like me, you may want to click this, and this will export all your data into an Excel file. And then from there, you can do your own analysis in Excel. Okay. So if you're done, if you're ready, you've made your decisions, you've reviewed them, everyone on your team, if you're working on a team, has reviewed and approved them, then what you'll do, quite simply, is just hit run. Oh, we have an error. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll click on this, and it says our budget limit has been exceeded. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop $610,000 from our budget. And what we'll do, quite simply, is just we're going to take it out of targeting. So we're going to take 300,000 out of here. Just assume that let's just assume that those two segments are not really interested in our product. Now, oh, we're still a little bit above. Okay, now we're within budget. It also tells us that our team identity has not been set, which is something that you don't have to necessarily change. So I'm not going to worry about that at this moment. So I'm going to try again, run. At least one error is found in your decisions. Let's go back. It is going to make us change this. Click the blue button, team ID in the left bar. Okay, so it says the left bar, but if you click right here and then click team identity, you can change the name to, test one, or whatever. Okay, now we'll hit run. There are no errors. Click run decisions. It says it takes less than 1 minute. It usually just takes a couple seconds. And so now it says, hey, look, your results are all right. Your share price went up. Proceed to the next year. And now here you are back in the new period. The first thing I would do in each new period is click on company report, see how your profitability changed from year to year. So you went from $13.5 million in earnings to $14 million. So you grew, not a lot, but you grew. Click on market dashboard to see where your stock price went. So you went from 100 to 103. Everyone grew, you grew the least, but you still grew, and that's what's most important. So you are completely in charge of the run. You can run it whenever you want. You don't have to wait for anyone to do it for you. I would strongly recommend that you don't immediately jump into the next set of decisions. Take some time to do a deep dive in the data to make sure that you fully understand what's going on and can fully make a strong set of informed decisions. So that's really all there is to say for now about BrandPRO. Hopefully this was informative and helpful. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. Thanks.